one of the most fundamental way that we understand the world is with the help of lines and angles, right? It's one of the most fundamental way to express ourselves as well. When we were kids, I'm sure you guys would have done that. Taken a chalk or a pen or a color pencil, you drew something on the wall. I'm sure all of you have done that. Or you would have taken a stick, drawn something on the floor, right? On the mud. So these are all to do with lines and angles. We are officially understanding lines, especially angles, in very detailed manner. And I have an example over here that lines and angles can be used to express even the most complex things like a human body. When it comes to gaming, right? Especially when, realistic gamings or 3D movies or any kind of movie, honestly, we will be using lines and angles. Any gaming, any movie, we are using lines and angles. You build anything, we have to use lines and angles. We move, the most fundamental thing that we do when we move, they too we are using lines and angles. Consciously, unconsciously, we are using lines and angles. Now we are trying to put across in terms of measurements, in terms of values, so that someone else can understand, right? So we are trying to understand how are these angles, so-called angles, what are they? How are we measuring? How can we draw? What and all an angle depends on, and what it doesn't depend on, right? All the things is what we are trying to learn. So lines and angles are foundational geometrical shape, we see everywhere, starting from engineering, architecture, technology, everyday life. So in clocks, sports, navigation, we see it everywhere. The topics that we are covering is points, line, segment, line and ray. Those are the fundamental things to angles. So we need to understand this before we understand angles. We'll compare angles. We will something called as rotate arms. There are many types of angles that we are looking into, and we are measuring them. We are getting introduced to the measuring tool. Then we have some conceptual a concept called as angle bisector. The way we make mistakes, and also I missed over here to draw an angle as well, that I missed over here. And one thing that I want you guys to understand, see, there's a clear cut requirement and there's a clear cut change in how things are taught and learned and applied. Before, when your parents were kids and when I was a kid, our agenda was not to that extent well defined, honestly. If you just do well, you're done, you're doing well in your education, as in get good marks and you're done. But now it's not so. Now it's more of, it's not only that you need to understand it, you need to be very good at applying it as well. So the world is changing towards more of application oriented. So learning isn't just about memorizing definitions or finding answers. What really matters now is how we use it. So try to enjoy learning, try to understand in your own words, with your own day-to-day activities. Whatever you learn, it can be math, science, social, languages, everything is useful. You have to be best version of yourself in everything. It's okay if you're not that great compared to X person, but be your best, right? So with that, let's start off with lines and angles.